Hope you're doing well. In today's video, we'll continue to use price action to take an informed decision in the indexes and stocks. And the stock that I have today up for discussion is HeroMoto Co. HeroMoto Co is a stock in news. The reason for the news is that we are all aware that GST benefits have been passed, and one of the biggest beneficiaries are actually two-wheelers under the 350cc segment. And 98% of all Indian two-wheelers are under that 350cc segment. And HeroMoto is obviously one of the dominant players in that segment. And they have decided to pass on the entire benefit to the end consumer. Which means that the bikes such as the Splendor, which was approximately 93,000 rupees on road, will now be priced at 85,000. I'm not sure if it's on road or ex showroom, but broadly there is a 6 to 7,000 rupee discount on most variants, which is very significant for that segment, and it could prepone the buying decision for many. So given the obvious possibility that in the short term there could be preponement of buying decision, the question is, this obviously positive news, do we take up a long position based on this, and if so, then what would be the trade plan? So let's get started. The chart here is of HeroMoto Co, and we will repeat the process as always. We'll start it off with the monthly. And in the monthly, we will focus on this level here, which is an all-time high at 6250. And we know that a security which creates an all-time high is obviously in an uptrend. But from this high of 6250, we are seeing a low of approximately 3250. Now, such kind of a 3,000 point, a 50% erosion of value approximately in less than 6 months. This is not a characteristic of a bullish strong security. The pullback is quite deep. This is obviously a bullish weak security. We also realized that this high was the pivotal high. The previous pivotal high was created after breaking the 2017 resistance. So the fact that a security can come back deep into the previous range is an indicative often that this security is currently bullish weak. But regardless whether it is bullish strong or bullish weak, the decision has to be to trade on the long side because the structural trend is bullish. Now here the traders will differentiate. If they want to trade bullish weak stocks, then obviously Hero becomes one of the candidates. Traders who only want to focus on bullish strong stocks on the time frame that I've selected will reject HeroMoto at this point for further assessment. But our objective is obviously to learn how to apply key concepts, and therefore once we have done this basic assessment on the monthly, which has given us the idea that this is a bullish weak security, we just simply shift to the weekly. And once we shift to the weekly, we can see that there is obviously, this is a pattern here. This is a clear saucer handle pattern breakout. We can see this on the weekly, but the price is like very far off. This is not oversold. This is nowhere close to being oversold. In fact, the point would be that it will be oversold around this zone. I mean, once this low of 4400 would be created, 4000 and the final low of 3300, this is the range of being oversold. So for example, I'll just add the RSI indicator, and you will note, so I'll just mark a vertical line here, and I'll mark a vertical line here. So you can see these three vertical lines, and obviously in the last two you will note that there is a divergence here. Alright, so if we zoom in a little bit further, the three vertical lines correspond to the points where the security became oversold. Here it did become oversold, but there was no green candle follow-up. So most likely one wouldn't have got traded here. It is at this level, at this 4000 level, once it got oversold, that this green candle on the weekly would have resulted in a succession of days on the daily where traders could have got trapped, and they would have got stopped out eventually. But the divergence now between these two low would have invited another trading activity at around 3800, 4000 levels, because the trend would have obviously been bullish weak even here and even here, which means that once you have identified bullish weak, the attempt in January of 25 would have failed, but the attempt in March of 25 would have been quite successful in trying to time it. So obviously here we are seeing that this is oversold, but when we look here right now, it is highly overbought. So this actually rejects. So even though you could have qualified HeroMoto to be a stock that you want to take up a position in, this is too overbought, it's too expensive, and you will have to wait for it to cool down. And the logical place for it to actually cool down would be this gap support that we are seeing here at 48 4700. So which means anyone who's bought here at 4000 or bought here at the lower level of 3600, they'll pretty much be trailing with this 4800 as a stop loss pretty much, but we'll check the daily for that. So which means that based on this itself, we can reject HeroMoto for a potential entry, and we'll just look at the daily charts to assess if there is if someone has created a position, where would a logical stop loss be. So here it is almost threatening to form an M pattern. It's logical, it's rising, so it's fairly visible, it's very easy. We can see this is the rise here. I'll make it a black line and make it slightly dark, and you can just connect this to this low, then this connects here, and this looks like this here. So it's not yet broken, but we can see that the high is 5500 and this low is 5250. So it's giving it a 250 point target on the downside, which means it is giving it here as a downside at 5000 odd levels is a potential target if it just gaps down tomorrow, or it's a very small M pattern. It's not very exciting to trade such a small pattern, and of course you don't want to be trading, you want to ignore the M pattern on a bullish security. So a conservative trader would obviously, if they really want to hold on to the stock, they would pretty much wait for the target of M pattern, and their SL would obviously be based on an anchor bar. So we can see that this candle here is the anchor. I'll mark this dark blue and maybe make it here, and we obviously don't need this blue line, so I'll remove this. This candle is the anchor, and logically this low of this candle, which is 4897, so that means 5000 would be the target of the M pattern and 4900 would be the conservative stop loss. Or a trader simply decides to exit right here if it gaps down tomorrow, but this is where the difference, there's justification to leave it. There's a bearish pattern, so if you're trading in the September series, obviously you will want to get rid of this position, but if you were in the November series or October series, then you might just have a look at it if it consolidates around this place and continues to break. So many choices. With that, I hope that having gone through a chart and to assess the impact of news on the chart, even though the news is very, very favorable, we see that the news is come at a very overbought condition on the stock, and pretty close to the M pattern formation of the stock. So this news could actually be quite a big trap, and therefore while we acknowledge that this stock is bullish and generally likely to trade higher, which means if we are to look at this chart 10 years later, it will be trading more likely higher than lower. As far as immediate trade action is concerned, the immediate trading is not supportive of long at the moment. It's too overbought. So I hope we have learned something. I hope that this video was useful, and once again thank you for your kind comments, and as usual you can leave your queries on the comments, and once I feel that there is something that can be discussed on a video, I will take it up. Thank you for your time. I wish you the best.